everybody, and welcome back to It's Pod O'Clock, episode 4, match week 3 in the bag. It's been a week again. It's been one of those weeks. Thankfully, a little bit of normality next week and the week after that, with international break and one American by the name of Alex Goldberg going back home means that I have a rather normal life once again, starting from tomorrow. Tomorrow, deadline day, or today when you're listening or watching this, deadline day will be going on. There's a lot to cover in this episode, that's for sure. I've got some notes of things that I want to talk about. But yeah, before we begin, please do like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you're listening on Spotify, please do follow and give me a 5-star rating. That would be amazing. Where do we begin? I mean, I'd go through FPL, but I feel as though at the time of recording, it's the 2 o'clock games. It's about an hour played. It's 1-0 to Man City. I'm watching the game between them and Brighton. They're winning at the moment. I think Erling Haaland with the goal. I will. Yeah, you know what? I'll go through my FPL very quickly because, like I say, it's not done. It's not dusted. It's not over with yet. We've still got Liverpool versus Arsenal to come later today. I was going to record this during that game, but I kind of want to watch it properly. Do you know what I mean? With that said, 19 points at the moment. Not the best, It's below average, that's for sure. Something I forgot once again is, I'm not an avid FPL player, I suppose. Or at least I haven't been in the past. This year, I'm trying to take it a lot more seriously. Game week 3. 19 points. I would have 12 more had I actually remembered to substitute Enzo Fernandez on the pitch. If I look, actually, I missed out on 2 points last week with Mateta. And in the first week, I missed out 1 point with Mateta. Whereas this one, 12 points missed out. 12 points missed out. I would have been on 31 points for the week. So unfortunate there. Mamouche's got me 6. Hudson-Odoi with 3 at the moment. Joao Pedro, vice captain for me, got me 9. I've still got Salah, Gabriel, Saliba, Wirtz all to play in that game. I didn't substitute bloody Timber on. God almighty. I literally transferred him into the squad, replacing the injured or absent Vardiol. So, I've got some things I need to, learn and it's a work in progress. Like I say, it's only game week 3. Let's be honest. Anyway, quickly sort of like cover this week, I suppose. Obviously, I went into detail about what I got up to in the week, last week. This week, just gone though. Obviously, with Alex still in town, got invited to Talk Sport to attend him recording a podcast or just a sit-down chat. Really, it's him and Asmir Begovic are good friends, and so I was fortunate enough to attend, go to Talk Sport studio. And meet with Asmir. Very nice man. Very, very nice man indeed. He made me plug my YouTube on the podcast. He seemed rather interested. Didn't sound as though he'd really liked the name, I'll be honest. He didn't. I got a bit of like I said what it was, and he said, you ever planning on changing that? As if to say, like, that's shit. So I was like, cheers, Asmir. Great. Bumped into Jason Cundy again, and he was very, that's a handball and a penalty if I ever did see one. Brighton with a penalty. Shouts. And they've been given a penalty. It's and we'll get into this because we're obviously going to have to talk about Chelsea and Fulham and VAR and all that sort of stuff, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, bumped into Jason Cundy whilst I was there, and we had a little chit chat. All of us, obviously, but he remembered my name. He said hello, H. One thing to remember someone's name, but to remember that you called them a certain sort of nickname. Not that H is difficult to remember, but still, he didn't have to acknowledge me. Do you know what I mean? Well, I mean, he did because I kind of bumped into him, but still, good to see him again. Practically best mates at this point, me and Jace. But enough of that. It's been a crazy week, obviously, as well. I was back at Spotify Studio doing the podcast with Troy Deeney and obviously Alex at the same time. Started the episode with them absolutely giving me a grilling about my attitude and how entitled I am, and being told that I need to do a quick turnaround for the episodes. We recorded at 2. I'll say 3 because Troy was late, but it is what it is. The penalty's been given, and so it started with them giving me a bollocking in front of everyone, and it was fun. Did some questions, hosted the quiz. It's good. It's good these days. Both of them going to America soon, obviously, and so I'll be left to my very normal life until they return, hopefully before the end of the year. James Milner standing over the penalty spot as we speak, in a chance here with 25 minutes to go to level things up. Brighton not been great this season so far in the opening 2, but a chance here to get a very, very big point, maybe even 3 if they score this and go on to win it. I'm trying to wait until he takes it, but I will quickly as well. I say I'm trying to get through this quickly. I was unsure. I had quite a few to drink last night. It's a great penalty by James Milner, right in the bottom corner. Did worry me for a second there that he'd put it wide, but it is 1-1. Champions League. I will stop saying that I'm going to quickly talk about, because I want to talk about things in depth, The Champions League draw happened. We had Ibrahimovic and Kaka hosting the draw, and it just felt a little bit weird, I wasn't really a fan of the way that it was done. I wasn't really a fan of the whole button pressing sort of malarkey to try and make it seem as though it's not completely and utterly predetermined. I don't want to say that that's unequivocally the case, but I feel like it just seems a little bit fake, and for us to have drawn, I think it is every single team that we played in the knockout stages of the 2012 run to our first ever Champions League victory. It's just a bit strange that of all the teams we've been drawn against, it's all of them, And I know you could say, well, not all of the teams are those teams, but I'm saying like we've been drawn with all of them, like every single one. It's just a bit weird. So naturally, a bit skeptical there, but we'll go through the fixtures, shall we? Because it's coming around rather soon, rather swiftly. We'll go to Champions League, shall we? We kick things off on the 17th, so in just over 2 weeks' time, with a trip to where it all started. Our Champions League love story, Allianz Arena. Bayern Munich, of course, is who we'll be facing. That is on Wednesday, the 17th of September. I'm unsure what the situation is going to be like there. I'm a bit worried. I think that's going to be a rather big test. But if we could beat PSG, who knows? Then we've got Benfica at home. on the 30th of September, sorry. And then Ajax, another really big sort of fixture that we've had in the past relating to Champions League. Obviously, that really big occasion that we nearly won with Azpilicueta goal that was disallowed, but obviously Reece James to level it. Big goal for him, big goal for the club. We then have another one that is ever so slightly linked to Chelsea, Qarabag. Another one where I'm just like, only Chelsea would match with Qarabag. It's just another one of those teams where you think Qarabag, you think Chelsea in the Champions League. If I'm not mistaken, Zappacosta had a bit of a madness against them. I don't think that was the big goal that he scored. I feel like that might have been Roma. It could have been Qarabag, though. It could have been. That's an earlier kickoff, 5:45 on the 5th of November. 20 days later, we play against Barcelona at Stamford Bridge, which is, I would argue, good. I was saying on the watch-along yesterday, or 2 days ago for you, on Saturday, that I was there for the last time we played against Barcelona at Stamford Bridge, 2017-18 season. Messi's first time scoring against Chelsea ever, so, you can thank me for that. Willian with a good goal. And I had some absolutely fantastic seat. I was going to say seats, but seat. I was on my own for that one. Then we go to December, and Atalanta is who we face away from home at the G-Wiz. I'm assuming that's Gui's. Good chance for Brighton to make it 2-1. Not quite. The G-Wiz Stadium. And the penultimate game of the run against Paphos. David Luiz making a return to Stamford Bridge. And then we finish things off with an away visit to the Diego Armando Maradona Stadium against Napoli. Another team that we share quite the history with in the past in Champions League. Overall, it's, do I think that we are going to get through? I think so. I think we beat Napoli. Hang on a second. Hang on a goddamn second. Does he play for Napoli still? Does he still play for Napoli still? He does. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Well, if it comes down to the final game and we need a win, you can just bet your money. You can bet every bippy. Bet your bottom bippy Romelu Lukaku is going to get a goal against us at some point. 2021. I suppose he was on loan a few times. I'm just looking at 26 games in the Premier League he played for Chelsea in his return. Don't remember him playing that much. All I really remember is the goal against Arsenal, I think, on one of the opening games. Anyway, I'm fairly chuffed with the games that we've got. I think we probably lose to Bayern Munich, if not draw. I don't see us winning personally, but I'd like to be proven wrong otherwise. I think we beat Benfica. I think we beat Ajax, Qarabag. Barcelona is going to be a real test, that's for sure. Estaval versus Lamine Yamal is going to be potentially one of the sort of like battles for the future in terms of talent. Atalanta, I think we beat Paphos. That's going to be one of those sort of Conference League kind of games where we win like 8-0. And then Napoli, I can't predict Napoli whatsoever. I think it's going to be it's going to be a strange one, that's for sure. But yeah, I'm okay with the games that we've got. That's one thing. Now let's move on to Chelsea versus Fulham. Arguably the most controversial game of the weekend so far. We've obviously, again, as I said earlier on in the podcast, Liverpool versus Arsenal still to come today, and then I think there's like a 7:30 kickoff, which is weird on a Sunday. I think I can't remember who it is, but it's caused so there's been so much sort of it's Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace, which is a long way to go for well, not really Birmingham, I suppose. It's not that far, is it? Yeah, VAR. We'll get into that in just a second, but I just want to say Chelsea, for me, showcased a talent that we haven't seen too much in the last few years, and that is the ability to win when you're not playing well. I think that in the past, games like this one, we would have either gone on to lose anyway, despite the VAR situation with the Joshua King goal, or we would have just drawn it, come up with a few late sort of opportunities and not really put it away. In this game, I think it was very clear to see that Fulham, at least in the first 20, 30 minutes, were definitely the better side. Chelsea looked lethargic. They looked tired still. They looked a little bit disjointed all over the place. And, you know, I think I can understand Fulham fans being upset, being annoyed, being frustrated. But like I say, we'll get onto the VAR situation. I think they got one wrong. They did get one wrong. And then they got one right. I think you can work out what I'm going to say. But I think that certain players, I think Caicedo was brilliant. The tackle in the box was phenomenal. And it was just a bit of a, I don't know, a hard one to watch at times. It certainly felt, there's a fucking wasp in this room. For Christ's sake. Oh man, I hate wasps so much. Oh, where's it gone? Oh, there it is. No! Oh no! Go away! I fucking hate wasps so much. Oh no! Oh! No, let me open the window. Fuck! Out you go, you bastard! Go on! Fuck off! Oh god! Oh, it's all over the place. All right, windows are closed. Oh my god! Oh no! Oh god! That was fucking massive. Anyway, back to the job at hand, and that is I went to drink the mic there, and I think that we may have been rather fortunate to you know, have escaped with a clean sheet. There is a narrative going round that Chelsea are now very much a team that is favoured in the eyes of VAR. And as a Chelsea fan, naturally, I think people are going to argue that, oh, of course you don't think that that's the case because you're a Chelsea fan. And, you know, I can't stress enough that fucking James Milner's nearly 40. Jesus. And still playing. He's the second oldest goal scorer in Premier League history after Teddy Sheringham. I can't stress enough that from my perspective, I just don't think that that's the case in any way, shape or form. We have had so many. I would argue, I would really, really put serious money down that, in fact, Chelsea are the team, I would argue, that have been involved in the most VAR controversies where it has negatively affected Chelsea. That said, people like Danny Murphy and that going on and on and on, and there's just so many people, and it's been quoted as like the biggest mistake in Premier League history. Bollocks. Absolute tosh. Like, do you know what I mean? Fucking, it's only because this is Chelsea that this is as big of a talking point in the first place. Because naturally, people hate Chelsea. People absolutely, the media hate Chelsea. Everyone fucking hates Chelsea. And it just grinds my gears, the treatment we get. But some people are adamant that Chelsea have favoritism. We get favoritism by VAR, which I just cannot wrap my head around for 1 second, and I won't entertain it really. Speaking of which, though, in the watch-along, I mean, watching the game, I was obviously very vocal, rather passionately vocal, at my thought that it was not a foul at all. It just wasn't a foul, and I was saying, you know, the game's fucked, football's ruined, not just because of this, but like the principle, the actual, like, the sort of message behind it. I just think football was so much more entertaining when VAR just wasn't a part of it. I stressed that if you kept goal line technology, which for the long and short, for the most part, apart from that one incident, have West Ham scored? You're joking. My goodness me. There's been a lot of surprises in this. Tottenham lost. You know, we'll get to that in a second, actually. But anyway, on the VAR, it wasn't a foul. It just was not a foul. And a lot of people, I got a lot of flack from Chelsea fans saying, you know, are you even a Chelsea fan? No, yes, I am, obviously. But I'm just not blindly biased. My dad is one of those people who, even if, you know, let's say, I don't think Robert Sanchez is a good sort of situation, because my dad does not like Robert Sanchez as a goalkeeper. I don't think anyone does. But I'd say, like, say Levi Colwill, 2-foot drop kicks Mohamed Salah in the face, he would argue that there is room to discuss that this isn't a red card. He's one of those people, you know. And so I've been around that sort of mentality of, you don't say anything negative about the club ever, even if it means speaking the truth. The point I'm making is, if it's a penalty, it's a penalty, and if it's a foul, it's a foul, and if it's not, it's not. I'm just saying what I'm seeing. It wasn't a foul. End of story. Because, and I'll tell you for why, all you fuckers that were having a go at me saying, sort it out, you're a Chelsea fan, for fuck's sake. Yeah. And what have they said? VAR, the PGMOL, have come out and said that they made a mistake and that it was not a foul. So have some of that, yeah? Telling me I'm biased against my own club. No, I'm just saying what's true, and it wasn't a foul, you know? At the same time, was it a penalty? And the answer is yes. Was it a handball on João Pedro? The answer is no. In the build-up, it did strike João Pedro on the hand, but in the ruckus, in the run of it all, it strikes his hand, but it's in a natural position because he's turning and his arms like that, and it just clips. It's not like it. I mean, it did obviously have quite the impact, but I just think people don't seem to understand. Some people don't seem to understand what. I don't think a lot of people know what handball is these days. I think there's a lot of confusion around what handball is. But at the same time, like, that's not handball. It's completely unintentional. There's no intention in it whatsoever. And it hasn't affected the play. It's then gone on. Chalobah's whacked it, and it's gone a distance where it's not right next to each other. And he's got his arm up like that. And he's actively gone like that. Your arms aren't meant to be in that position, son. Yeah? For anyone that's confused, it's just not normal for your arms to be up like that. Unless you are actively trying to block the object, this being the ball, in this scenario. I don't know what else to say to you, because, I mean, Fulham fans acting all sorry for themselves. We've been cheated. I understand with the first one, but it's a penalty for the second one. It's clear as day. Absolutely stonewall penalty, you know. And that's it, really, with regards to that game. Like I say, it was a hard fought. It wasn't really hard fought. I think Fulham just kind of gave up. It's a 2-0 to West Ham. A penalty, and it's in. Unbelievable. And to which I will turn my attention to very quickly. The state of the Premier League this season is hotting up to be quite entertaining. I must say, if it's going to be like this all season, it's got potential to be one of the best seasons in a while. Chelsea 2-0, Man United 3-2. And again, I will say, right, I've seen a lot of people again, much like the people on our back about VAR and saying, or just the VAR in general, but it's only like overly hyped because it's Chelsea involved. I've seen so many pundits and commentators, or like Paul Merson was saying it, like they're celebrating like they've won the World Cup. I think, who was it? Someone saying it's embarrassing. They shouldn't be celebrating like that. They've just won the game, and albeit, you know, I think they were 2-0 up, weren't they? No, they were 1-0, 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 up, 2-2, and then a 97-minute penalty, Fergie style, like proper Fergie style situation. I don't get this thing of like, what are they just not meant to celebrate? Are they? They're meant to be like, oh yeah, go on then, great. You know, they're on the cusp of losing to Burnley at home after they've drawing to Burnley, but still losing points after they've just been knocked out of the first round or their first game in the Carabao Cup against Grimsby, and you want them to not celebrate a really close call win from the spot just because, you know. I don't know who these people think Manchester United are these days. I really do question, like, people's perception of teams these days is like Manchester United are closer to becoming a Blackburn, you know, a team that's won the Premier League, or I would say Leicester, but like, do you know what I mean? Not quite Blackburn. I'm trying to think of like teams that have really fallen from grace. I mean, Nottingham Forest was one. Leeds are another one. Manchester United are closer to being a team like that now than they are to being back in the Champions League. And it's, nearly 2-1 to Brighton there. But like I say, they are closer to regress, like just getting to the like absolute depths of hell. They're in the depths of hell. They are absolutely shocking. So naturally, a last-minute win against any team, it doesn't matter. That's a disrespect to Burnley, if anything. What? Because it's Burnley, you can't celebrate like that. This is what I'm saying. So I just think the celebration police, as usual, out in full force, you know, and I think that might be a bit overhit. It might not be. Brighton are in! Brighton are in! And it's 2-1! Come on! And it's late as well. 88th minute. Unbelievable! This is what I'm talking about! This is what I'm talking about. Brighton, a team who have started the season off absolutely woefully in 8th 18th place, 2 points from their first two. They're now beating Manchester City. It's an unbelievable start to the season. It really is. Manchester City are on the cusp of losing 2 of their opening 3 games. Unbelievable stuff. It really is. You know, you go through the fixtures. Sunderland again. Sunderland getting a win. They are 6th, 2 wins out of 3, a loss, fair, but you know, it's just an absolutely crazy start to the season. There are others as well. They beat West Ham, they beat Brentford. I mean, arguably these are teams that are just not very good. They lost to Burnley, which, you know, crazy as well. Tottenham, everyone's new favourite team to sort of like rally behind, and they've just signed Xavi Simons, and they've got this whole thing behind them, and you know, it's all coming up Millhouse for Tottenham, and then they fucking lose to Bournemouth. It's unreal. They're on a run of people actually backing them. 7 minutes of additional time, by the way. They're on a run at the moment where they've gone from being absolute pants last season to now this season. It seems like they've turned things around and people are actually backing them to compete for things. Get some silverware. Thomas Frank is the next fucking Gandhi. Do you know what I mean? It's a crazy start to the season. Everton beating Wolves. Dewsbury Hall with a very important goal there. Leeds and Newcastle, a boring but 0-0 draw. Newcastle, again, a team that I did say, especially with the Isak situation, would be looking towards going down a little bit. Not relegated, but I mean like down since the 0th minute. The 0th minute. Is 0th? The 0th minute. They've just shown a graphic there. I don't even know if that's a word. 0th was what was on the screen there. The 0th minute. Unbelievable. Sky Sports' graphics, I think it was TNT yesterday, actually, but their thing was getting on my tits as well. It's 3-0 to West Ham. What's going on? You got Brighton beating Man City. In a season where I know they're obviously going to have a bit of a turnaround. Yeah, since the 60th minute, they had the 0th by mistake. Unbelievable error on a platform like Sky Sports. But yeah, Man City, for a lot of people, were predicting that they'd be really doing well. I've got them finishing 3rd, 4th, maybe, I think. And then you look at Forest, who I actually predicted would be like, I want to say like 14th. I could be wrong. I think I've got it, actually. I think I've got my prediction. I think we probably could. I think in next week's episode, we'll go through the table. And we can sort of like compare what my predictions were. Early comparison, but it'll be interesting to see, that's for sure. But yeah, you've got Forest, who I did actually predict would be pretty shit this season. They've started really well this season, have they not? Oh no, one win, one draw, and one loss now if they lose here today. But people have been like going, oh, they're actually pretty good, and they've had a good transfer window as well. So I think that's a lot of what people are praising. It's a lovely ball. It's a lovely bit of play here from Brighton, trying to see it out. But to then lose 3-0 to West Ham, who are fucking shit this season so far. It's hard to tell. It's really hard to tell what's what. Do you know what I mean? We're top of the league as it stands. Does that matter? Probably not. But still, we are. All right, let's begin to wrap it up. I've done about 35 minutes. I'll just cover a few bits and bobs. Garnacho was announced as a Chelsea player yesterday in rather cringe fashion with his billboard, sitting on the billboard type thing. It is what it is. It's happened. We need to move on. And, just face the facts that he is a Chelsea player now, and back him. I'm not going to be, critical or anything like just for the sake of it, but he's got a lot to live up to. He's got a big name now that he's cultivated by being this, I don't know, almost self-proclaimed in a way as to being like really good. The amount of Brighton fans that have left early, by the way, is just fucking embarrassing. There's a lot of pressure on him to deliver. And, you've got a lot of fans who didn't really want you in the first place. You've now come, you've got to sort of do something now. You've really got to shut people up, including myself. I'm going to back anyone that joins Chelsea. I'm not happy about it. I was never excited. I was never touched by it. I never felt like this is something that I ever wanted. 40 million, though, good piece of work, I think. If he does end up leaving at some point, I think that we'll probably make a profit on him, I would imagine. 40 million, peanuts these days in terms of transfers. But yeah, he's just got to prove everyone wrong, which is pretty tricky to do in this day and age because everyone's so critical. But it is what it is. Speaking of transfers, obviously deadline day is today when you're listening or watching this. Nicholas Jackson will be one of the main points. He's now returned to the club. It's wide. Sorry. If you're listening on headphones, I'll probably burst your eardrums there. I think that was Mamouche with a good chance there. He's now returned to the club. The loan spell has been called off. And I still don't see him playing for Chelsea. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I think it's going to be incredibly toxic. I don't blame him either for not wanting to play for Chelsea again. If we ask him to and he's like, no, I'm like, fair. I get it. I completely understand. We've mugged him off. We've tried to get rid of him. And then as soon as we need help, we're like, I'll come back. Please. Oh, please. It's kind of funny when you think about it. It really is. So now we've opened the sort of like window. I mean, it was always open for him to be going on a permanent deal, but we've put down a specific amount for what we want for Nicholas Jackson. Was I think is about 65 million. Either pound, I think it's in euros, and then it's like 58 million pounds. But even still, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, and I think we're going to be looking to get rid of him now sooner rather than later. Yeah, we're going to be looking elsewhere. Does Schmeichel make a bit of an appearance? There's obviously 2 weeks for us to try and sort something out. I really do feel like we'll make a signing, like last minute one, where we're linked with Conrad. Is it Conrad? Conrad Harder, who I believe is Sporting Lisbon. What's he saying? It's Conrad Harder. It's a pretty good name. It's a unique name. Conrad Harder Weibel Schandorf. He's Danish, 6'1", plays for Sporting, 31 games and 6 goals in the league. He has made a Danish senior international appearance, just the one. 20 years of age, 10 years my younger by, like I say, 10 years. We're also linked with a potential return from Mark Guiu, who's currently at Sunderland on loan. It's hard. Brighton have won. Can you believe it? But yeah, that situation's very sort of tricky. I don't quite know what we're going to do there. It's poor planning. It's poor planning from the boards. They've not really, prepared for this eventuality. And whilst a striker being injured is like not very common, you still have to be prepared. And I just think the Nicholas Jackson thing's been dealt with really badly. You know, we've just sort of exiled him for his red cards, which I'm not angry about, you know. But to then call him back and stop him going on loan is a bit crazy, you know. What else is there? Obviously, deadline day and all that sort of stuff. But I think we've covered everything. Listen, international break. We've obviously got. We're going to have to cover a few bits during the international break, whereby I think there's bound to be things popping up here and there. I'm trying to think of things that I'll be having to come up with for the next episodes, because obviously no football will have happened. England will have happened. I suppose we can cover that in some way, shape, or form. But it's pod o'clock. It's not necessarily just Chelsea. I mean, we covered all the other games as well. And I'm really enjoying doing this. No beer of the week this episode. I did drink 8 pints yesterday, so I really didn't want to do the episode today. But I'm feeling good now. I'm actually like talking, and I'm doing it. You know, I'm feeling good. It scared the shit out of me with the Wasp. You know, it is what it is. But fourth episode done. I'm enjoying doing them. I'm enjoying seeing the comments. People seem to be enjoying it. You guys seem to be enjoying it. The people are listening to it on Spotify as well. Thank you for doing that. But yeah, fourth episode in the bag. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And I think you can comment on Spotify as well. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And give me some ideas for what we can talk about in the next 2 episodes that are obviously in the international break. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified of when I go live, when I post, and all that stuff. Rate me 5 stars and follow me on Spotify if you haven't done so already. As always, thank you so much for watching. My name is Harry, out the Chelsea, and peace.